Good afternoon, this is David Lane. I'm here with Sam Rodriguez, and today's date is November 3rd, 2016, and we're doing a video inspection for the main line of 3227 East 19th Avenue here in Spokane, Washington. What we're looking at here is the city sewer trough that runs out to the back of the house. We're in 6-inch clay tile. And I'm gonna start pulling back and describe what I see here. Sam's here with me, and we're gonna do a good job of describing your line and getting you good information. The bottom of the line is always where the water's flowing, and it also can be indicated by where my light is. Right now, it's on the right upper hand corner. We got a separation here about a foot up. You can see clay tile is put in 2 to 5 foot sections, and over time the line settles, and the most problematic area is the separations where the pipe offsets due to settling in the ground, and that will happen at every seam. You'll be able to see that at every seam.
It doesn't always separate, and realistically that separation itself is in pretty good condition. It's very, very minor. Anything that stops the flow of water in the pipe is an obstruction in the pipe, so we'll be mentioning that too as well.
Pull back. We're crossing the 80-foot mark now. The line itself is about 86 feet long. There's another separation, just step down, nothing too significant.
A lot of times what happens in these separations, this is where roots grow in and will get inside your line. So far we haven't seen any yet, so it's good.
This line seems to be in pretty good shape. Water seems to be flowing very nicely. We're passing the 74-foot mark.
And it just looked like a pretty normal seam in the pipe we just passed, so. I'll get you more too.
Continuing to pull back here. There's this little separation. Nothing to be too concerned about. Water flowing very nicely. Just one moment. Bear with me while I switch my paper towels out. We got a little bit of an aspect change, and the bottom of the pipe's moving over to your left-hand corner here, and back to the bottom of the screen. And here at 63, we'll call it 64 feet, we're going to transition from clay tile pipe into Orangeburg. Orangeburg is known as Orangeburg. Its correct name is bituminous fiber. It's made up of compressed tar paper and wood pulp.
And it's layers of compressed tar paper and wood pulp.
It's very problematic. It has 3 stages. It starts blistering. Deterioration. Those layers start peeling back. It starts ovalizing, and the last stage is collapse.
And what's going on right here, as you can see, we'll stop the camera for a second. You can see that the pipe itself right on the bottom looks really, really rough, as like a rock is going through it. Those are the blisters we were talking about. What happens is those layers over time, what they do is they start to bulb up, and they'll create this, and realistically the only thing you can do is put a cable down it, snake it out, and get these layers ripped out. The more Orangeburg is cabled, the more you're kind of ripping off those layers of the pipe. Eventually, this pipe will collapse, unfortunately.
We're going to continue to pull back.
You can see how it's just very, very rough on the bottom. Stuff can definitely get caught up in all this stuff. There's a hole in the pipe right there, right on the left-hand side of the screen. And on the right-hand side of the screen as well, it's started to crack and ovalize, and it has holes in it. You can see that the whole bottom of the pipe is just very, very rough as we're pulling back. These bulbs are pretty big. There's holes in the pipe throughout it for sure. The tile itself looked like to be in great condition. This Orangeburg, on the other hand, looks like it's in pretty bad shape.
The blistering is very problematic because anything solid will catch on it and cause blockages in your line. My camera lens is 1.5 inches in diameter. We went underwater there for a second. I'm going to continue to pull back. We got a mass that I'm pulling through. It looks like what could be some blister and roots as well. It's hard to...
The roots don't look too big. It's definitely hard to see with all the water sitting in there. But, yeah, the Orangeburg is just not in good shape. Seeing all those bulbs like that, seeing how rough the pipe is, you know, those are all just obstructing water flow and making sure that stuff is definitely going to get caught on that stuff as you're pushing through it. There's multiple holes as you're pulling back.
This standing water is very indicative of obstructions in your line. The water is not flowing correctly.
It's pulling up in all of those areas.
Going to continue to pull back. We're going through about the last 3 or 4 feet of line, starting about 58 feet, and we're right at 54 right now. We're pretty problematic. Going to continue to pull back here. You can see the amount of water in the line. We're at 51.5 feet now. Like I said, the diameter of my camera lens is 1.5 inches. This is at least 1.5 inches deep water.
Really, you don't want any water sitting in your line. Stuff can pull up inside of it and eventually create a mushy substance. And once it gets all mushy inside the line, it's very, very hard to get out.
We're coming up on 47 feet here. Still underwater. Pulled out of water here at about 45 feet 10 inches. Back in water. Going to continue to pull back here. I would say that this line, the Orangeburg at least, not the clay tile, but the Orangeburg is in the last stages of its life.
The only thing I haven't seen the Orangeburg not do, we've seen cracks, we've seen holes, we've seen definitely bulbs. That's why we keep dropping in and out of water, is because bulbs are holding spots that are bellied inside the line. I haven't really seen it start to ovalize yet, and you'll actually see the pipe is in a circle. You'll start to see it ovalize as you're looking back inside of it.
Continue to pull back, just crossing the 36-foot mark.
All these bulbs, it seems like the whole bottom half of the pipe is just very, very rough. You can see just a tiny little bit of ovalizing starting there.
Going to continue to pull back here. Coming up on 32 feet. Just past 30 feet. "28 feet here. There's a lot of water pulled up here. 26 feet. Still underwater. 24 feet. We're pulling out of water here at 24 feet. So that's about 8 feet of water. Gonna continue pulling back. Continue to pull back here. We're at 17 feet. Sam, what kind of line is this? I think we've transitioned
We've transitioned into the cast iron.
into the cast. So we transitioned to that cast iron around 24 feet. We're at 17 feet right now. Just wanted to make sure I knew what I was talking about. Pulling back here. We're at 13 feet. Cast irons life expectancies from 150 to 200 years, and Orangeburg bituminous fiber, I've been taught that it's about 50 to 70 years life expectancy.
Cast iron, you can see, is kind of rusted in areas, and that's pretty normal to see. It lasts really, really long.
Just one moment, folks. We're running into a little bit of equipment difficulties here.
No, I tighten up these and then just force them back inside the room. Okay. So remember when you're putting it in, push it.
Yeah.
Is there more? Or is it? Okay, there we go.
All right. Sorry about that. We're back and going. Pulling up on 7 feet right here, where we just left off.
Yeah, cast iron definitely looks rusted in some areas and possibly a little bit of cracking, but this stuff's pretty sturdy.
I'm going to continue to pull back here. We're going to be coming out to clean out here shortly. We're at 2 feet. Foot. And we're coming out to clean out now. And this is the clean out behind the washer and dryer, right under the washer hookup in the downstairs basement.
Once again, that was David and Sam with Bulldog Rooter. That was your video inspection. Thank you.